I'm Crystina Poncher. Thank you, Tyson Fury, the Lineal Heavyweight Champ, for taking a little bit of time out of your evening to join us. Tyson, it's been almost a year to the day since you announced the signing with Top Rank as your co-promoter. How would you kind of sum up what this last year has been like?
I think it's been an amazing roller coaster journey for me, from Morecambe to MGM Grand Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas has now become the home of the Gypsy King. Third fight back to back here, two amazing fights here in Las Vegas, two very different shows. The fans really enjoyed it and got behind me, and I'm going to put on a showstopper for the 22nd of February, my third fight.
I remember when the signing was announced, it was kind of in the middle of negotiating with the rematch with Deontay Wilder. And every headline was, throws a wrench in the rematch, and people were thinking, oh great, now he's really not going to fight with Deontay Wilder because he signed with Top Rank.
Yeah.
And yet here we are.
There's a lot of promoters and a lot of managers and a lot of people who say a lot of stuff that's very untrue, and they said I wasn't going to take the rematch and all that, but if I wasn't going to take the rematch, I wouldn't have took the first fight in the beginning. Would I have to been out ring for 3 years? So yeah, all things good come to those who wait, and this has been a fight worth waiting for. And we both had a couple of fights in the interim, both give the fans another chance or two to see us live in action again, and it just builds up the anticipation of the biggest rematch in boxing the last 20-30 years. Like
you mentioned, you both have had a couple fights in the interim. Let's start with Deontay. Do you feel like since the first fight he's shown anything different, or he's got any better?
Well, with Deontay, we already knew he could punch because he already had 41 knockouts out of 40 wins. So all he did was knock out somebody, Dominic Brazil, another knockout, 42. And then he showed me that he can lose every round for 8 rounds and then knock somebody out, which I already knew that anyway. So that's 43. So yeah, he didn't show anything that we didn't already see before. No more new tricks to the book. Guy's 34 years old, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. When you're unbeaten and all that, they don't need to change. They're just going to do the same stuff. So yeah, I haven't seen anything different. Much of the same from me, I've always been a slick boxer and good moving and dodging punches and stuff, and I showed it in my fights.
When you heard, split decision draw, was it immediately in your mind that you knew, despite the fact that most people believe that you won that fight, that you had to do this rematch? Is it more personal? Is it more for everybody else?
It's more of everything, really, to be honest. It's like, I only want to fight the best in the divisions, You only see the best Tyson Fury when I fight the best opponents. So yeah, I'm anticipating seeing a great Tyson Fury this time, and I rise to the occasion. That's what I'm known for doing. I'm made to put on a good show, and I'm an entertainer, and that's what I do. I get paid to entertain fans, and I sure as well will do that on the 22nd of February. I don't remember a bigger rematch with 2 undefeated fighters before. You had the Lennox Lewis Holyfield rematch, you had the Bo Holyfield rematches, but in those fights both fighters had already lost. This is a rematch where no fighter has already lost before. We're both undefeated fighters, so it's one of the biggest rematches I can ever remember, to be fair.
So what does it say at this point in time that this rematch is happening with Fox and ESPN and PBC and Top Rank and Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder?
It's fantastic, that all the biggest broadcasters and the biggest promoters in the world and the 2 biggest fighters in the world are all getting together for a massive party in Las Vegas. We're showing that it can be done. When 2 fighters are willing to fight each other, then this is what happens. Results happen. We're not complaining who's the A side, who's the B side, who's the D, Z side, whatever. Both fighters are champions. Both want to get the fight on. So credit to both men. We're both putting a lot on the line. We're both putting reputations and names. 12 years undefeated careers. So yeah, I've got to take my hat off to Deontay Wilder and myself as well for putting it all on the line. When we throw down on the 22nd of this month, then all I can say is may the best man win. No hard feelings. Train hard and do your best you can, and that's it. Put on a great show. There's only one winner here, and that's the fans. We both have something to lose. 12 years, unbeaten careers and legacy. The fans don't have anything to lose. They just turn up for a fantastic night.
You've been open about talking about the 3 fights you want next. Is that win, lose, or draw? That's the path?
Yeah. Win, lose, or draw, it doesn't really matter. Obviously it matters, you want to win. But I've got 3 fights left anyway. This is one of them, and Wilder rematch will be another one. And then we'll try and get AJ in the ring if he's not too soft to take a fight with the Gypsy King.
Now, last time we spoke, quite a few things have changed. Change in the corner, Little bit of tighter camp this time, closed camp, no cameras. New chef down there in the kitchen. Family around a lot more. I know you've often said if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know you won the first fight.
Reason is I didn't win the first fight. A draw to me is a loss in my mind, you know. So whether the judges did it, whoever did it to me, I still got a draw. So that ain't good enough for me. I strive for perfection. And if I wanted the same stuff, I was going to box the same way, I wasn't looking for a knockout, then I'd have kept the same team and done exactly the same thing because it was fantastic. It worked, what we were doing, it worked a treat. But this time, like I say, I'm going for a second round knockout. And the odds are, the longer you're in the ring with Deontay Wilder, the higher the odds are of getting knocked out. So I've got to get him out of there nice and quick, take them odds down to 0. And that's what we're doing, that's why I've changed teams. I've changed teams to a puncher, aggressive coach rather than a defensive, slick coach. I brought an on-board nutritionist, aka food guru, aka George Lockhart. He's done an absolutely fantastic job, and I wasn't really a big believer in food and all that sort of stuff my whole career because I'm like old school fighter, and people back in the day didn't have bread to eat, never mind a million fit food today and a million nutrition things and all that. The old fighters probably never ate for 2-3 days and go and box 25 rounds. So yeah, and I always think if they can do it like that, then surely I should be able to do it today on the stuff we have. So I wasn't really a massive believer in all that all my career until I've really had my eyes opened in this camp. With the right nutrition, and you can put more work in, you can put, everything comes off that food. I'm eating 5 meals a day, and I thought I drank a lot of water usually. He said, how many litres of water a day do you drink? I was like, oh yeah, I drink 4 litres a day, like that was a lot. And he goes, yeah, I want to get that up to 2 gallons a day. So now I'm drinking like 2 gallons of water a day and eating right, sleeping right. I can't really do any more. I physically can't do any more. I've got my family here, I've got my 3 brothers with me, I've got one of my best friends over, I've got this close-knit team, I've got the nutritionist, I've got the strength and conditioning guy who I've been with since 14, I've even brought my own personal masseuse over to get massaged 3-4 times a week. Prevention injuries is better than curing them. I'm getting to bed early, I'm waking up early, I'm training twice a day, 6 days a week. I'm not overtraining. I'm under the watchful eye of Sugar Hill. It's been a really, really good camp. Not that the other camps wasn't good, because I never make any excuses and I always do my best I can. I always train hard and I always dedicate. That's never been a problem in training camp for me. But this camp's been something special, and it's been the best camp I've ever had.
Speaking of special, how important has it been for you to have your brothers around? I mean, usually fight week, you know, family starts to roll in, but they've kind of been by your side pretty much the whole time. What has that meant to you?
They've been over here for 5 weeks now. It's pressure on me as well, because they expect Superman every day. You know what I mean? I'm their hero. So they're taking punches with me, like the video in the sparring, and my little brother's going, ooh, 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 he's moving with the shots and the camera's going all over, and he's taking the punches with me, you know, so it means a lot to everybody. It's not just a boxing match, it's everybody's striving for me to do well and win and prove myself and regain everything I lost in the past. So yeah, it's been a real help to have everyone over here, and it's been a good time. It's a good bonding time as well. I've got 3 brothers over with me, and we never get time to be together like this every day, all day. So it's good bonding for family as well.
There's something to be said about the connection with the Fury last name, with the family. I mean, you've talked about your lineage, you've talked about where you've come from and just the family and the lineage of fighters. So what does that mean to be able to bring that up to now being a worldwide superstar and have that name under the brightest lights on what could be the biggest night in all of boxing?
It's fantastic. I've took the Fury name from the streets to the pinnacle of sports, to be lit up in Las Vegas. It doesn't get any bigger than that, does it? You know, like I speak to Isaac, my friend, and he goes like, this is like a dream come true. Like sometimes he pinches himself to see if he's dreaming. He's actually living and training and fighting in Las Vegas. His last couple of fights and being trained here, and it's an absolute dream come true to both of us, because from where we come from and what we've gone through in our careers and lives, it's definitely an experience and a roller coaster ride for sure. But I was always bound for greatness. You know, I was on a one-way ticket to the stars, and anything less, in my opinion, was a failure. I never aimed to be a world champion. I never aimed to be a domestic level European champion. I was either the best in the division or I wasn't going to be anything. It was never settling for second best, never settling for mediocre. We don't do mediocre. I'm either the best or I'm not. And that's why I've been so successful my whole career, because ordinary or average just ain't good enough for me.
Because you strive for the best, you've shown you're the best, the man that beat the man to get to this position, to get to that lineal position. I know that legacy and everything, we've talked about it before, that's not really what you do it for. That's not
exactly.
really, it's not really what matters. There has to be that driving force. What is that force every single day that still pushes you?
Do you know what pushes me? Because I fight and I train like a Trojan for the right reasons. I'm not here for money, and I'm not here for fame, and I'm not here for anything like that. I'm here because I need to be here. This is my moment in time. This is what I was born to do. I'm here because I want to be here. I run down that road and I train twice a day, 6 days a week, because I love it. I don't know anything else. It makes me very, very happy.
Do you really feel like Las Vegas has become like a second home for you? Obviously, you've spent a ton of time here now with your third training camp, probably more so than you have back in the UK.
I really like the life and the way things go down here in Las Vegas. Nice and chilled and relaxed, and while I'm training here and living here and eating and sleeping here, then it's a great place to be for me.
One thing that's kind of topical news of the day was the weight that you're going to come in, that you talked about, coming in at 270, right about where you are right now, maybe a little less since you shaved today.
Yeah, I took a few pounds off with a beard.
What's the kind of thought process between coming in heavier?
It's been a massive weight loss program over the last year or two, and it's took a long time for me to stabilise the program I've been on. And for my last fight, I was like, I couldn't stop the weight falling off. It was like I was here in the desert. It was 115 degrees every day. I was training in the gym with a tin roof on it. It was like a sauna in there. So the weight was coming off and I couldn't stop it. No matter what I was eating or drinking, the weight kept coming down. I couldn't stop the weight coming down with the heat, with the sweating, with the training. And when it's on a spiral downwards, it just keeps going down. So that wasn't where we wanted to be. We was 8 or 9 pounds lighter than we initially wanted for my last fight, through no fault of our own, really. This time the weather's right and we've got the right nutrition, so I'm only boxing at what I naturally should be anyway. People
obviously have more concern over it than probably you and your team do about it slowing you down. You have a massive advantage is your speed, your footwork, the way you're able to dodge punches, and adding 15 pounds is not a concern.
The first Wilder fight I was very light as well, and it was the same kind of thing. We trained hard and the weight just fell off, and I was really light for that fight. And on the weigh-in day, I'd ate and drunk and had meals and everything, and I was still light. So it wasn't ideally where I wanted to be. My optimum fighting weight is around the late 260s. That's what I'm naturally a massive person, and I carry the weight well. I'm never going to be body beautiful. I'm never going to be like Bruce Lee or Dolph Lundgren or Rocky Balboa. I'm always going to be the dad-bodied heavyweight champion, It makes me more real.
Let me ask you, Deontay Wilder has, even though you guys talk your mess back and forth, he says that you've been a breath of fresh air for him, and it's been a delight to go through this co-promotion because you're not selling the fight, you're being yourself, and as he is. Quite the contrast from the last few fights. I mean, how do you feel about those comments when he says you're like a breath of fresh air and he's really enjoyed this?
It's been a great experience, all of it, to be honest. Deontay Wilder is a worthy dance partner, not just the boxing. Boxing aside, he does his thing, he struts about, he says he screams his bomb squad, and he tries his best to keep up with all the chat and all that. So it is a breath of fresh air, and he is as well, because it's very rarely you get fighters that can talk and can put on a show. And without putting on a show and without it being entertaining, then people ain't really interested. And that's the true fact. When you get two heavyweights shaking each other's hand and whatever else, turning up in a suit, whatever, people are just like, we've seen that all before, boring. But when you get two colourful characters, then it usually ends up being a colourful press conference or a colourful build-up to fights. And sometimes the build-up to fights are as good as the actual fights.
Yeah, sometimes it's better. Sometimes the build up and then you get so much anticipation and then the action in the ring just doesn't live up to the hype, but that's not what the fans should expect February 22nd.
Last fight we had a massive build up, we was at each other the whole fight, and then we put on a great fight. So I'm glad we actually did do that, and I've got a real funny feeling that this fight's going to be even better than the last one.
If it goes to round 3, what goes through your mind?
Keep going. We just keep moving forward in a positive way.
That's it. That's all you can really do.
That's all we know.
That's it.
Wake up every day to do the same thing, go back to sleep again, hopefully. And that's a good day.
God willing. Tyson, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the good questions.
Absolutely.
All the best.